Hey everyone, it's Angelica Cole. I just wanted to talk to you today about some things that really stand out to me in the case of the missing boys, Orrin and Orson West, or as their mother named them, Cincere and Classic. So for those of you that follow along on the Facebook groups, this video probably won't provide anything new. There's just some things that have been bugging me. The first several items on my list are in regards to the peculiar verbiage and body language used not only by Trezell West, but also by Jacqueline West in that first local interview taken the day after the boys were reported missing. And before I get into this, I just want to be as fair as possible and mention that their behavior very well could be just because this situation is awful and terrifying and not something that most people, would ever be ready for. And also, there's several members of the family of Cincere and Classic and of the community who are standing there aggressively gathering just feet from where they're giving this interview. So with that being said, I want to start with the first part of the interview where the reporter asks the couple, okay, tell us what happened.
Okay.
From our yard.
So as you can see, Trezell takes this big deep breath and Jacqueline goes, from our yard. And that's the only response that she provides in regards to what happened to the boys. And I just kind of found that response was a little strange, but we'll just keep going.
Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay?
So this verbiage is strange, even if it's what he actually meant to say. They are going to be, but the way he pauses is almost as if he catches himself before saying they were. I'm going to play this clip for you a couple different ways. I want you to listen close and see if you can kind of hear what I'm hearing.
They are.
So it is definitely really hard to tell, but I feel like he might be happy he had that mask on. The next clip is also strange because he continues on with the they are going to be's, and he says they are going to be in this area. And I find that a little weird because he doesn't know where the boys are supposedly.
They are going to be here in this area.
I also want to point out the direction in which his eyes motion as he's making this statement, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well.
We're not sure, like everything, we're not sure. We said what we knew.
Jacqueline starts to say, we aren't sure exactly, but then she stops and she just says, like everything, we just aren't sure. And it's like she just didn't want to incriminate herself. So Trezell's eyes do some interesting things in this next clip as well. The reporter asks the couple, do you have any pictures of the boys? And Jacqueline West responds, well, we have some, but my phone was confiscated. And I'd like you to look at Trezell's eyes.
Would you be willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay.
So as you can see, his eyes just sort of flutter. And I just find that response to be very interesting in regards to this question, especially since it's been confirmed that the West family was unable to provide any photos of the littlest boy until the second day of searching. The next thing that has bothered me since the beginning is that not only were these boys reported at the same height and weight, even though they're a year different, but they were also both reported last seen wearing black sweatshirts and gray sweatpants. It was like no one even thought the story through far enough to even put them theoretically in coats. Additionally, the boys were supposedly outside playing with chalk, but you don't see chalk drawings in any of the drone footage, and it takes a lot to get chalk out, so you would think it would still be there. Also, I don't notice any bikes or balls or toys, so with 6 kids, I just thought that was kind of something to notate as well. So a couple days ago, we got the biggest bombshell of all. Shout out to AV Watchmen United, who went around the neighborhood asking the neighbors questions and actually got video footage from the neighbor who directly faces the West home, and what they found was very suspicious. So this camera is pointed directly at the West home. It would have caught everything that the parents were doing. And it never shows either person going into the backyard, frantically running around the front yard, checking either of the huge side fields behind their or next to their home. Instead, it just shows Trezell casually coming out. He gets into the van. He sits there for almost a minute, and then he just casually drives off and he heads down a side street. According to the neighbor, this is the way that Trezell always leaves when he leaves his home. According to the timestamp, Trezell left the home at approximately 4:33 p.m. He casually just kind of goes left and he drives around for about 5 to 6 minutes. And while he's doing this, the neighbor can see his headlights as he's making his way through the neighborhood. And then Trezell comes back home at about 4:39 p.m. And he just casually exits the van and goes and stands in front of this tree and waits for the police to arrive. And all this time, he's not running around searching, and you never see Jacqueline come outside and do one search. And I wanted to revisit this statement that they gave in the interview, that they thought that the boys were around here. And he casually kind of looks in the right direction. And if you notice from where the interview is taken, they are standing at the very bottom part of their driveway and would be looking in the direction where Trezell ends up driving as he's leaving to go look for the boys.
They are going to be here in this area. And
So I just wonder if this subconscious eye gesture isn't showing us where those boys really are. Initially, I thought him getting into a van to look for two small boys was ridiculous to begin with, but especially once you see that the path that he took was to go left and then down Melville, it makes absolutely no sense. There's at least 4 fields near his home that he never checked. Because nobody in the neighborhood has ever seen those children, there are rumors circulating as to whether or not the boys ever made it to Cal City. And another piece of footage was obtained from the same neighbor that seems to show the family leaving on December 19th. And the neighbor believes that he only sees 4 children get in that van. And in my opinion, it's just too hard to tell if all the children got in the van because those 2 littlest are very small. But I will say I find it strange that you can take all the kids supposedly Christmas shopping, but you had to put the 2 littlest boys on the porch to wrap them? Weird. Another rumored piece of evidence is this video footage from the neighbor across the street that supposedly shows Trezell putting the boys into the van on the morning of the 21st. So we have not seen this footage yet. It will be interesting to see if anything actually comes from that as well. So that's what I've got, guys. Those are the red flags that stood out to me. Tell me what you think. And I know it's been a long time, but I think it's important that we continue to pray that these boys come home safely. Thanks for watching.